Gasia. Just a couple people navigating the world of broadcast news in the San Francisco Bay Area. Gasia, of course, anchoring mornings. I'm anchoring nights, both raising families with a few teenagers between us. Good morning. First off to you, Gasia.
Good
I
to
know
see
you're in
you.
the I know you're in the middle of your shift. My shift has been, it's been a little up and down. We've talked about some rough stories this week. We've had teenagers overdosing and dying on fentanyl. We've had teenagers stabbing each other in a classroom in Santa Rosa. We've had shootings on Highway 24. We've had people getting laid off, not just on the federal government level, but just last night, I think San Francisco Unified notified some individuals, I think hundreds of them, that they would be getting layoff notices down the road. So up and down week, which leads me to wanting to take a pause. I feel like, first of all, January and February are just brutal months. I'm not a big fan of January and February. How often do you get out of the newsroom, like just because you want to get away from the news in regards to just taking a break, whether it's a 3-day weekend or just a week off?
Well, number one, I don't do it enough. I should probably do it more. I happen to have a 4-day weekend. My sons had Valentine's Day, so February 14th was a Friday, and then they had Monday the 17th, which I think was President's Day. And so I took those 2 days off knowing they'd be out of school, and we like did nothing, but it was amazing because I just drove around. My son was looking for baseball equipment. We went to Dick's Sporting Goods. Like I achieved nothing, right? But it was so nice just to be away from work and away from, like you said, kind of this, it's kind of like a fire hose of really difficult news. I used to think that if I was going to like use my vacation days, I had better go somewhere, but that's changed. And now I'm like, you know what, just going to Dick's Sporting Goods and getting lunch with my younger son is a perfectly good use of a vacation day. So I need those
Yeah.
breaks more than I take them. I mean, honestly, you and I, we should probably try to do it like once every couple months or so, just for
Yeah,
our
you need to recharge, right? Initially, I have my standard vacation, like we're going to go to Lake Tahoe.
yeah.
I know that. I know I'm going to take, around Thanksgiving. That's a big family holiday. But I agree with you over the last few years. Like, I'm like, okay, I need a 3-day weekend because I'm right now technically working 10 straight weeks. And if it's a busy week and heavy week in the news, that's important for me to recharge so then I can come back and be ready to go and work in the news. I want to go to Las Vegas and see a concert with my wife, but she doesn't really want to go because it's in May. But I'm like,
Okay, hold on, back it up. Who
yeah.
is the concert, first of all?
Well, right now it's Kenny Chesney, who we've seen. We actually saw Kenny a few years ago in South Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
But the Dead is also playing in Vegas. But of course, I've seen the Dead a lot. So, anyways, I want to go do it, and it's in May, and it's close to my birthday, which is on Father's Day this year, which is awesome because that only happens like 7 times a year,
Yeah.
or 7 times
Once every
right?
7 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. So we'll see, because live music is important to me. You know me, I love live music.
Right.
And I
Why
think it's
doesn't
just,
she want to go? Is it like work or kids or?
that's just where, yeah, you're going to get to leave the kids home for, a couple days. And, they're 15, he'll be 15 and 12. I think we can pull it off, but
You
again,
would not leave them alone. Like you would have
yeah,
a
I
take
would.
her.
Of course I would.
Really? Oh, you're braver
Yeah.
than I am.
Well, we've already done it once and they're what, 14 and 12, just for like one night, but I trust them. But, so we'll see. I don't know. It just goes to the point of like, I love live music, right? It's part of my soul. Like going home at night, I crank that thing up. I
Yeah.
crank up my Grateful Dead. So we'll see if we make it. But I don't know. What about music for you? Do you
You know
do
what
you,
I
you don't
remember when
really like music?
I love live music. I think the music I listen to is maybe different than yours.
You
But
like opera? No, I like your love opera.
I love opera. I love going to the ballet. I love going to San Francisco Symphony. We actually just recently saw, that Christmas movie Elf, like with Will Ferrell and the maple
Yeah,
syrup.
he's on my pajama bottoms right now. These
Oh,
are
okay. Well, we saw the Elf. Oh,
Will
look, you were
Ferrell.
not. This isn't planned, people. So we saw Elf in concert at San Francisco Symphony. What they do is they show the movie on a big screen above the stage where all the musicians are playing. And so, the musicians are playing the soundtrack, but you're actually watching the movie. And we've done it also. I've seen E.T. that way. I've seen a couple of the Star Wars films that way with live music. It's bonkers. Like the soundtrack totally comes alive. I didn't really think music was a big part of the movie Elf, but when you see it that way, it is. And I just love like looking at the musicians as they're like, doing this on the violin or, trumpet, whatever. It's
Yeah.
I love it. So
And what's it do? What's it do for you?
Oh my God, it will. It like revives me. It makes me cry. It energizes me. It gives me something to look forward to as soon as you buy your ticket. And then
That's
the
true.
day that it happens, you get to like look kind of nice and go to a fancy place with your family. And then afterward, every time you hear that music or every time you see a clip of that film, you're reminded of that amazing afternoon that you had with your family. So like it's a before, during, and after. Like every time I see a Star Wars film now, or even just a clip of it, I'll remember seeing it inside Davies Symphony Hall with live music. And my son was really young at the time, and it has just been the gift that has. I mean, it keeps on giving. I cannot say enough about it.
Yeah,
So
I think I was 14 when I first saw my live concert. Warfield, Market Street, San Francisco, Jerry Garcia, and David Grisman. And my older brother took me and kind of introduced me into this world. And I wasn't on drugs. Everyone says, "Oh, you must have been high." No, I wasn't doing drugs at the time in my life there. But it was truly, and they pulled out the banjo for the first time, I guess, playing together. I'm just guessing, but I think it was like 10 years that they had actually played the banjo on stage live together. And I was hooked, and it was just became part of my part of me and my soul, and just makes me happy,
yeah.
live music. And so ever since then, whether it's country or the dead or whatever, I just love being at shows. It just opens me up, and I feel free.
Yeah. So tell me, like, is it called Dead and Company, or what's the iteration that
Oh, nowadays, yeah, it's Bobby's doing it. So it's Bobby and a few others. There's only like the remaining members are the two drummers and then Bob. So and they're great, they're fantastic, but they're playing down at that Sphere, the Sphere in
in
Vegas.
Vegas?
Like
Yeah.
I want to see it. I heard it's phenomenal to see a show. So that's what we're debating, is like, who do we see in the Sphere? But I don't know. My wife, she's a big country fan too. So, it's just biting the bullet. And once you do it, like you mentioned, once you do it, you're like, okay, we have something to look forward to. And then once you're done, you're like, thank God we did that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
I've
it's a
never
gift to
regretted.
ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like, I've never regretted spending money on concert tickets or taking a minute to be somewhere fun with my husband. Like, but you're right. It's like, should we do it? How much does it cost? What would we do with the
Yeah.
kids? Well, what if it ends up raining? Like,
Yeah.
all this what ifs. But like you said, once you pull the trigger and you do it, like, I've never regretted. I hope you go. Keep us posted. I
I
hope.
will. I will. Speaking of the dead and gifts, so tomorrow, not to date this episode, but it's Bill Martin's last day
No.
at KTVU. For those listening, our chief meteorologist has been here 30 plus years. And I gave him a gift, and I've been holding on to it for a few weeks. And I was going to give it to him tomorrow, but I'm like, I kept looking at it. I'm like, I kind of want this now.
What
And
is
I
it?
was I wasn't going to give it to him. So over the years of working with him, he's not a big Grateful Dead fan, but he can play one song on the guitar, right? So he can play the guitar. He's like, yeah, there's one Grateful Dead song I play. It's called Ripple. And then I started singing the lyrics. He's like, you know that? I'm like, yeah, I know the song. Okay. So I found this thing where it's like the lyrics of the song are in the shape of a guitar on a canvas,
Oh, nice.
and it's like a whitish cream canvas, and then the words in black. So I got that for him, and then I gave it to him. So and he loved it. He
Oh,
loved it.
yeah.
So
What's the
but no,
meaning of the song? Like what story does it tell?
just to me, every song to me is interpreted differently by individuals, but to me, it's just the story of, you get one life, you make the best out of it, and you live it. You know,
Oh, that's
for
nice.
me. But I'm a big gift giver, so I want to give him a gift. So
Yeah. Oh,
whatever.
that's interesting. I'm
No pressure on you in case you want to drop him a little something.
so I'm not only am I not a real big gift giver, I'm not a super good gift receiver because I've kind of decided lately I want to leave this world with zero possessions, and I
Someone
have
gives you a gift, you don't want it? What does that
um
mean?
I mean, I think I project so clearly that, you don't need to bring anything. Please don't bring anything. You don't, no presents, please, like that sort of thing. So the few gifts that do come through, I mean, I really have to love it to keep it. But yeah, I'm not I'm just uncomfortable with people spending money on me. I feel like even though, like,
It's
if I'm
just
gonna
the
get,
gesture, though. What if it's just a nice gesture? Like, what if
you
it's
know
not
what?
even expensive? Like the other day, so Chris, the producer, said he's going to work with me. Someone's calling me. So this week, and can you still see me?
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
calling me.
See
My
your
God.
palm, but I also see your face.
Okay. Anyways, he said, "Oh, I'm going to work with you all week next week." And I said, "Great." And it's been a while. And so I'm like, "What do you like to nibble on?" And he just said something. And so I went to the store and I bought these little, what do they call cuties? The orange.
Oh, the tangerines. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I bought a bag of them because that's what he nibbles on, and so I brought them to work this week. I'm like, well, here's
Okay.
something to nibble on for this week. Like, you know, it's just $5 or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's like a little gesture. And he had a big smile on his face, and he's happy, and you know, a little thing like that.
So that's the perfect gift for a number of reasons. Number one, you picked up on something that that person said, right? He mentioned that
Yeah.
he likes those little cuties. And so you're like, okay, so the next time you're at the grocery store, you saw them, you bought them. It wasn't a ton of money, right? It was more of a gesture and it's consumable. So he doesn't have like a paperweight that sits on his desk forever. Like once he eats them, they're gone. So I think you just hit on the perfect gift. You hit on the perfect gift.
So if I got you something like that, would you be okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like cuties so much, but
Well, no, I mean, cuties. Like, what would be your what's your little nibble thing on, you know, your desk?
don't know. I'm trying to eat healthier. But I mean, like a mango,
A
which
mango?
yeah, I like mangoes. I think of them as a bit of a luxury fruit. Just so I didn't
Okay.
grow up eating them, and yeah, like a nice mango. I love strawberries from the farmers market. I mean, those can get kind of expensive these days, but yeah, but consumable. Like I said, I don't want something that I have to like hang on to and then pack away. And you're like, that's a good gift. That's very sweet of you to give that to Chris. I'm sure he appreciates it. How are
Yes.
nights going, by the way? Like, are you super tired right now? We're kind of talking mid-morning, so I'm in a break between my newscasts, but
Yeah, so I'm tired. I'm always tired. I'm just tired. I'm a tired man.
yeah.
But you know, when the red light goes on, it's game on. But it's okay. I mean, I got some hate mail this week.
From?
You know, these days we're doing a lot more in the newsroom. So now I'm, you know, writing and anchoring sports. And
Yeah.
this is the first time I got an email from someone who's like, "Man, those highlights of that hockey game between U.S. and Canada sucked. You really need to revamp your sports knowledge and all this." And I'm like,
Oh,
you know, hello, okay, nice to meet you.
wow.
Thank you for writing in, you know. And so I wound up writing back, and I was like, I usually don't, you know, and sometimes it's just noise, like it's just outside noise, and you can't, if you let that stuff inundate you, then you're night night, you know, not to steal Steph Curry's line there, but I did write back. So because this is all new adventure going into sports world, and I'm like, you know, I kind of agreed with them. I'm like, you're right. I mean, like we don't dedicate all the time in the world like we'd like to.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could have another 4 minutes to talk about this, but we just, you know, we only have 40 seconds. I'm sorry. That's just over my head. I can fight for more time, but sometimes we lose those battles, especially when I'm really focused on news and not doing sports. But
Yeah.
I don't know how you handle fan mail.
I it used to really bother me, like when you and I when we started Mornings on Two together back almost 10 years ago, actually. I remember when we started the nine in particular, but there was like a lot of, talk and chat and hey, what do you think of, I mean, back then we weren't talking about the egg shortage, but we would talk about something and we would, kind of add our own little thoughts on it. We weren't giving opinions on the news, but we were just kind of exploring these stories that were meant to be something that, viewers like would take to the office and talk about with their friends there, and I remember I got a ton of email from viewers and tweets and all that from people saying like, you talk too much, you laugh too loud, you're like, why don't you just deliver the news? And I was really hurt. And I don't have a thick skin. Like I've tried and tried. I don't really have a thick skin. But what helped me kind of understand it, and I remember I was talking to you, I was like, wait a minute, this is the format of the nine. This is the format that our managers have put forth for us to execute, So
Mhm.
we're not, it's not like if we go back 20 years, it's not like, Dennis and Elaine in the middle of the 10 o'clock news talking about the egg shortage and how they had to go to 3 different stores to find eggs. This
Yeah.
is totally different. So once I kind of realized that I'm executing, the vision set forth by the managers in this newsroom, and I wrote back, I said, hey, Susie, let's pretend her name was, Susie, I was, thanks for your feedback. Right. But also, we're working on developing a new kind of show. And I sort of explained it. And I'll say those emails, I mean, I haven't gotten one in a long, long time, but I will say the emails that like really hurt me and make me super sad are the ones that comment on my physical appearance. And women for sure get a lot more feedback on how they look and sound
Yeah.
than men do. So every now and then an email will come through that just like makes me want to burn the dress I'm wearing.
Whatever. You look great. Just give them the bird. Make sure, make it
I
loud and
can't.
clear.
I wish I could. I wish I could.
Ah,
I feel
yeah,
like
just
there's
throw it
always a
out there.
kernel of truth in what they say,
Uh,
and so it's just, yeah, it hurts. I don't like it. I wish I was better at dealing with it, but those are probably the hardest ones.
well, look at it like this. How many years have you been in the business?
27.
Okay, so if someone is doing something for 27 years,
Yeah.
you're doing something right.
Oh,
Okay. So You got to look at it that way. Look how many people, look how many different bosses we've had, news directors, GMs, and they've all agreed that, hey, you, Gasia, are doing something right. That's why you're still here, and that's why we're still anchoring morning shows, you know? So think
Well,
about that.
I will keep that in mind. I miss you. I miss working with you on mornings, you know.
I'll send you a bill for my little therapy
Yes,
session.
Dr. Mike Mibach, the doctor is in.
Actually, we used to do that, right? I mean, when I
Yeah,
did work together. Before we wrap it up, that made me think of something. They're 27 years, so at KTVU coming up on 20, right?
yeah. And you
When's
have
it?
like 1 week seniority on me, I think.
I do. I know I started on a Monday before you,
Okay.
and I don't know that date, but you know it, right? What is it?
I know my date. I think my date is March 21st of 2005.
And was that a Monday?
I don't know. I'll have to go back in the Google and look.
Can you research that? Because I believe I started the Monday right before you. Yeah, I
Did I
did.
tell
So
you what one of the producers in the newsroom said about you to me right before I got here? This
let me
is
guess. Let me guess. Do I get it? Tell me who it was.
this is juicy. It was Tim. He was our former 5 o'clock
I
producer.
know Tim. He's down in San Diego right now.
So I knew Tim from the station. He and I had worked together in San Diego 100 years ago, right? And he was working here as a producer, and I was trying to get hired here at KTVU, and he and I were kind of emailing or whatever we did back in the day. And I had been hired here, but I hadn't started. And Tim
Yeah.
wrote to me one day. He's like, "We have a brand new reporter. He grew up in the Bay Area. His name is Mike, and he's fantastic." And and
Timmy.
and I immediately felt competition with you, even though we never met. So I was like intimidated.
So
And
right out of the gate, right when we first met, there was like a hidden secret already.
yeah, well, because we're both reporters. We both started here as general assignment reporters, which basically means like you're flung to the winds. You could be doing a standoff one day and a school protest the other, and then whatever, a city council meeting the next. Like, we all want the biggest stories. We all want to, be on the 10 o'clock news. And so to hear someone that I'd worked with and have a ton of respect for say, this new reporter is fantastic. I was like, let me see this guy. So it's nice that we ended up friends. But yeah, I was intimidated before I ever met you. So
You know what they say? Competition is great for the soul,
it
Gasia.
is. It
Gotta
is.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's funny. Like our paths, have kind of done this through our time at KTVU. And, for the first several years, you were mostly out in the field, and I ended up being mostly inside. And I remember on a number of occasions, if I was inside anchoring and we would have one of your stories, your one of, or your live reports, I'd be like, wow, like Mike's really good, I mean, and so it was just so nice to be able to watch you work kind of from a distance and then to actually get to work together. I agree.
Very
And
sweet. It's
Mike is
always great to work
fantastic.
with. It's always great to work with you. And my daughter has a half day today, so I gotta go. All
Oh,
right.
you're busy. You
That's this episode of Off the Mic with Mike and Gasia. We'll see you around on the backside next time around. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.